Okay, we're going to get started here in a second. Okay, hi everybody, this is Bill Polis, and good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be around the world. I'd like to welcome you to the webinar presentation today. I call it the 3 Simple Steps to Market Mastery, or how to win up to 84% of the time trading the safest stocks in 10 minutes or less per night. Now, I have a lot of training for you today that I really think you're going to enjoy and benefit from. Now, I know you probably have some questions, so if you do have a question during the webinar, just go ahead and type it into the chat box on this page and submit it to me. We'll have some time at the end of the webinar to answer them, but I can't promise I'll get to all the questions depending on how many we get, but I'll do my best to get through them. So to start off with, let's do a roll call and see who's on. So go ahead and type into the question box where you're from, your name, and location. Okay, great. Okay, I see we've got Denver, Austin, London, Orlando, Detroit. Hi, Detroit, you're in my neck of the woods. Hong Kong, Australia. Wow. Okay, people from all over the world, thanks for making the time to join me. All right, let's get started. So for those of you who don't know me, let me give you my quick background. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan to a lower middle class family, so I had to work hard to get where I'm at today. This is a photo of me in 1960 when I was the youngest Eagle Scout in the Detroit area at that time. I went on to get an engineering degree from General Motors Institute, and that's where I ended up working for 36 years before retiring early in 2001 at age 53. My hobby, though, was always trading the markets. Now, this is a photo of me from 1974, the year that I started studying trading seriously. Because I was trained as an engineer, I found the challenge of trading a lot of fun, and I still do, even to this day. I also ended up getting my master's degree from the University of Michigan with a focus in finance. While it helped with my career at General Motors, it also helped me as a trader because I've always thought about trading as a business. So the same year that I retired, I started my financial education company with my son, Greg. We named it Profits Run after the saying, cut your losses and let your profits run, which most traders know very well. We literally started it from the kitchen table. And now over 12 years later, we have a modest office with about a dozen full-time employees, and at last count, we've helped over 40,000 regular people from all over the world learn how to become better traders. Here's a photo of the building our office is in here in Wixom, Michigan. And here's the Google Maps street view of the entrance to the office park where we're at, so you can see that we're a real company. That's Building A that you can see in the background. We're in Building F, which is down a little further. And this is a photo of me today in our office. So now you know a little bit more about me. Now let's get started with the training. So today you're going to learn the 3 simple steps to market mastery, which will give you the potential to make 11.1% per month trading the stock market in just 10 minutes or less per night. Now that's the potential. That does not mean you're going to make 11% every month, but the potential to make 11.1% in a month is there. These steps are the basis for what I call my market mastery program. Of course, there are no guarantees with trading, but that's indeed the realistic goal. You could do worse, you could do better. But I'm willing to bet that no matter what, your trading results will improve, probably dramatically, after applying these 3 simple steps. You'll see how most people only use 1 or 2 of them, if at all, and that's why they lose. But something special happens when you combine all 3. Now, I know it sounds cliche, but you truly get a synergy by combining all 3 that gives you the edge that you need to potentially pull money out of the stock market on a part-time basis, month after month, over time. It's not magic, but sometimes it feels like magic when everything's working for you, and that's the feeling I want you to experience by applying and implementing what you're about to learn. Sound good? Okay, but before we begin, let's do a quick poll and get a read on your experience level with trading so I can make sure I'm teaching at the right level. Would you consider yourself a beginner trader, an intermediate trader, or an advanced trader? So go ahead and type in your answer in the question box. Okay, here comes some of the answers. Okay, well, it looks like mostly beginner and intermediate with a few advanced. Good. Okay, that helps me out. Well, if you're a beginner or intermediate trader, you'll learn the most. But even if you're advanced, you're going to pick up some great techniques later on in the presentation. So make sure you stay with me. So here's a photo of me in my personal trading lab, which is a fancy name for my office. Now, this is where I spend most of my time testing and tweaking different ways to trade the markets. And I think I've seen and tried just about everything. I've also traded just about every way possible, including stocks, options, currencies, or Forex, futures, commodities, and the list goes on. And while all of these can be great ways to make money, there's a very special and kind of unusual way to trade stocks that most people have never been taught that I believe may be one of the easiest, safest, and most lucrative ways to trade. And that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I so willing to teach you some of my very best trade secrets for free? Well, I'm doing this for two reasons. First, I'm genuinely concerned about the state of the global economy, and I believe things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. Later in this video, you'll see how all the economic turmoil actually makes it easier to trade the markets. But the bottom line is that I don't believe the governments of the world can solve all the financial and economic problems. I believe that entrepreneurs and business owners are going to make the greatest positive impact on the world. Now, you've probably seen a trend in the past decade where more and more people are starting small businesses. And by the time you're done learning about my 3 steps to market mastery, you'll have the foundation for treating stock trading as your own small business, something you can do either part-time or full-time, depending on your lifestyle. It's my hope that you teach others what you learn on this webinar so that more and more regular people can become empowered with this knowledge. Now, maybe that's naive of me, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Now, the second reason I'm going to teach you my 3 best trading secrets for free is because of the golden rule, karma, or whatever you want to call it. I might be a little old-fashioned, but I was raised to believe that what goes around comes around. Yeah, sure, I have a business to run, but I know that if I put my best foot forward and teach you some of my best techniques for free, that many people will end up coming back to me for more advanced training later on down the road. So put your wallet away, relax, and take notes with an open mind. What you're about to learn on this webinar is more valuable than many trading courses or coaching that you'd have to pay for. So you're about to learn a kind of trading that can be used to create short-term profits as well as long-term generational wealth that can provide for your family for years to come. I've been working on it in private in my trading lab, and I'm very excited to finally be able to share it with you. The secret has to do with an unusual trading concept that's been staring everyone in the face, yet very few people understand. But once you understand it and you know what to do with it, your potential for ongoing success could skyrocket almost overnight. I think the reason most people haven't caught on yet is because it's deceptively simple. But in more than 40 years of trading the markets, I've never seen anything so simple have such a profound effect on trading results. On this webinar, I'm going to expose and teach you this unusual technique. So get ready to take notes. I think you're really going to enjoy what I have to share with you here. But first, let's clear something up really quickly. Buy and hold investing, in my opinion, is dead. Now, you probably already know this, but just in case you've been wondering why it's almost impossible anymore to buy a stock and count on it going up, up, up in your lifetime, let's take a quick look at some hard data to prove to you why most people are still throwing their money away in the markets and how you can take advantage of their mistakes. Look at this chart of the S&P 500 from 1991 through the end of 2001. For the first 9 years of this chart, a buy and hold strategy was probably a good move. You didn't have to be a genius to have a good shot at making money in the markets. But it all started to fall apart around 2001. However, most investors thought the market would correct and continue its climb like it did for most of the 90s. Well, of course, that didn't happen, as you can see in this S&P 500 chart for the next 10 years. This decade pretty much put the final nail in the coffin of the buy and hold investing strategy. Over a period of 11 years, the S&P 500 was flat after experiencing many huge ups and downs. Now, almost everybody who had open positions in early 2008 went into shock by the end of that year when the market crashed hard. The problem is, with buy and hold, there is no exit strategy. And so you're in it for the duration. And so when the market crashes like it did in 2008, your portfolio loses 40-50% in no time at all. Now that takes quite an emotional turmoil on people. And unfortunately, many of them that are locked into those kind of losses bail out then at exactly the wrong time, just before the market starts to recover and head back again, making matters even worse. So if you're still a buy and hold investor, ask yourself if it's okay with you to see your portfolio drop 40%. And if the answer is no, then also ask yourself, what is your exit strategy to prevent that from happening? Because I can tell you the market will indeed drop 40% or more. Again, we just don't know when. It could happen next month. It could happen in 6 months, a year or two. We don't know. But it's going to happen. And even if the market soars higher like it did in 2013, you can bet that another big market crash is right around the corner. Exactly when, we don't know, but it's coming. Of course, there's no way to predict any of these market moves, but the good news is that you don't have to predict anything to be able to have the potential to make a lot of money in a market like this. Let me show you what I mean. Here's another chart of the S&P 500. This time zoomed in to a recent 9-month period. Now, the actual dates don't really matter here because this market action repeats itself again and again. A buy and hold investor would have seen their portfolio at break even over this period. And that's if they were able to keep their positions open and ride out the storm, which is very tough to do. What do you tell your spouse when you have to cancel that vacation you're planning on taking because you just took a big loss and you have no idea how to recover? You know, it's not an easy situation to be in. Well, if you look at this same 9-month period through the eyes of a trader, this is what you see. A whopping 47.6% of profit potential by swing trading the short-term trends that are literally everywhere on this chart. Now, just to be clear, this is assuming you're using a good swing trading method, and this is profit potential. That doesn't mean you would have made 47.6%, but it does mean that a good method had a good chance of getting a lot of that potential. And that's exactly what short-term swing traders do. So the choice is really yours. There are two different realities. The question you should be asking yourself is, which one do you choose? And on this webinar, I'll be teaching you how to go after the 47.6% of the profit potential in this example. Sometimes there'll be less potential, and sometimes there could be a lot more. The bottom line is that once you have a step-by-step plan, you'll know exactly how to take advantage of any market, no matter what happens. Now, I'm about to teach you my 3 steps to market mastery, but first I want to give you a sneak peek at 3 predictable, high probability, and low risk profit pockets that occur again and again in the stock market that give you the ability to master the markets. We have the trend validator, where the market is trending nicely and then has a modest correction, whether it's going up or down, giving us the chance to get back on board the primary trend on a confirming move. These situations occur again and again in the markets. Then we have the counter trend cash method, where the goal is to take advantage of a counter trend move after the market has trended strongly in one direction or the other. In this case, we have a counter trend up move after the market had been trending down for some time. These are very lucrative setups. They don't occur as often as the other methods, but when they do, they spell opportunity. And then we have the velocity method, that when a market's on fire and seemingly wants to go to the moon, this method gives you a low risk, high potential opportunity to get on board that red hot market at just the right time. So when you combine all three, you have the ability to spot 3 times the profit potential than you had by just using one method. It's awesome. These methods work so well that I ended up investing over $50,000 of my own money to have some custom software developed to make it super easy for my students to spot these market conditions. I call it Market Mastery. It's based on the 3 trading methods I initially developed in 2007, but it's been enhanced and updated since its initial release based on real-life experiences, results, and feedback from hundreds of my students who put these methods to the test. And it's also web-based, which means it can run from pretty much any computer, smartphone, or tablet that has web access. Let me give you a quick tour, and then I'll teach you my 3 steps to market mastery. Here's how it all works. Every night after the markets close, the software automatically applies the trading rules for the 3 methods you just saw to the very best stocks on the U.S. exchanges, the Canadian markets, the Australian exchange, and the London markets. The results are then displayed on the Signals tab, which you see here. This gives you a quick snapshot of all the new trade alerts along with any existing open positions. You can also select the exchange you're interested in or the market you're interested in. Here I've got all showing. I could change that to U.S. exchanges only, where you would see the U.S. open positions and new trade recommendations. I can sort these columns, and I usually like to sort on profit and loss, the right-hand column. It shows me the most profitable to the lesser profitable trades. Going across the top, we've got the icon column that alerts you when an action is required, whether it's to enter a new trade or adjust your trailing stop on an existing trade, or whether or not you've hit the profit target on one half of the position. We have the strategy name, the symbol, long trades in blue, short trades in red. Strength is an indication of profitability. The more green you see, the more profitable the position is. This one here is up 10% with more to come. Remember, these are all open positions. Entry price, entry date, current price, stop price, and the first half position profit target. When the profit target's been hit, the profit target price turns green. You can see several of the profit targets have already been hit in just a few days. Remember, these are swing trades. We're in and out in a matter of 5 to maybe 15 days at the most. And the current open profit. Now let's take a look at these icons. Here we have a new trade recommendation for GE. If you mouse over the icon, it gives you all the information you need to place that trade. The entry price, the initial stop, and the profit target for half the position. With Market Mastery, we are scaling out of our trades profitably in 2 steps. Step 1 is at a predefined profit target, and step 2 is where we let the position go as far as it wants to, protected by a trailing stop. Now, if it's time to change a trailing stop, you'll get this blue icon where it tells you exactly where to change your trailing stop, locking in more and more profit. Change trailing stop. Where the profit target's been hit, you'll get an icon that pops up telling you indeed the profit target's been hit. You can also configure the software to send you email or text alerts when it's time for you to take action. So you really have three ways to be alerted: by the icon here on the signals page, by text, or by email alert. Now, this is why I like to think of the Market Mastery software as sort of a personal trading assistant. It runs in the background and does all the hard work for you, and then it taps you on the shoulder when it's time for you to trade. You can be away from your computer, go about your day, spend time with your family, or whatever. When you get a trade alert, you just need a few minutes to manage your trades. And that's going to be after the markets close. That's it. And after that, you go back to doing whatever you want. Now, if you click on a symbol, you'll be able to pull up a chart for that symbol that shows you the latest trade, where it was entered, and where it was exited. This trade is still open, and you can see that it's a very nice trade. Now, when we put these trades on, we're doing so at low risk, high probability points in the market. But we're not going to win on every trade, so we always have to protect ourselves with an appropriate placed initial stop. So in the case of ACT, this particular trade, the initial stop would have been right down in here, just above 155. And we give it some room initially, but not a lot. If it goes against us, we're out, no questions asked, and we just go on to the next opportunity. But once the market starts to move in our favor, like it did here, we're going to move that initial stop up very rapidly, initially to break even, so we zero out all the risk in the trade. And then as the market continues to move higher, we keep moving that trailing stop up, still giving the market a little bit of room, but locking in more and more profit as it goes along. We scale out a half position at the predefined profit target, in this case right around in here, and then we keep trailing that stop on a second half position, and you can see here that this market is just on fire. We don't know how high it's going to go, but we don't have to know. We just keep moving that stop up, and eventually we'll be stopped out on the second half position with an outstanding profit. The bottom line is that you still get to make the important decisions. You still decide how much money to put into each trade. You still have total control. But what also happens is that you get a feel for how these methods work, so that over time, you become less reliant on the software. Now, one big mistake amateur traders make is that they think you have to be trading all the time. Nothing could be further from the truth. Many of the most successful traders know that trading is a numbers game, and the key to potentially winning over time is to stack the odds in your favor while dramatically reducing risk before you even place a trade. Now, that's why my market mastery methods were designed to be traded only when market conditions are entirely in your favor. This way, you don't waste time and money gambling on uncertain market conditions like many amateurs do. Now, at this point in time, the general markets are chopping sideways, which is a more difficult environment in which to trade. But nevertheless, you can see here that almost all of our trades are profitable, and those that aren't have just been initiated and haven't had a chance to move in favor of the trade yet. When general market conditions are more favorable, you'll typically see a wave of green on this chart, where we have many very profitable positions. But we never force the market, we just wait for it to come to us. So with that understanding, now I'm going to teach you my 3 steps to market mastery. And by the way, even though all 3 of these steps are programmed into my software, you definitely do not need to use the software to apply these to your trading. You can begin using these right away. Okay, so the first step is that you need to have a good trading method that gives you an edge. And one of my best ever is called the counter trend cash method, and that's what I'm going to teach you right now. This is a method that I initially discovered in the fall of 2006 on my sailboat in northern Michigan. Here's some pictures of my boat, which is also called Profits Run because I bought it in part with money I made trading the markets. Besides trading, sailing is my other major passion. So this is where I made my discovery, which came slowly over a few days, but when I finally connected the dots, I knew I had something special. We ended up naming it the Counter Trend Cash Method, and the historical hypothetical trading results were amazing. But when we applied it and tested it with live market data, it performed even better. And now, years later, it's still one of the best performing trading methods I've ever developed. Of course, you'll have losing trades, but over an 8-month period, for example, the Counter Trend Cash Method had an 84% win rate, where the average winning trade was 3.1 times greater than the average losing trade. Now, it really doesn't get any better than that. Here's an equity curve of that 8-month period, starting with a $10,000 account, applying the Counter Trend Cash Method to the NASDAQ 100 stocks. It spotted 50 trades, both long and short. 84% were winners, 14% were losers, and 4% were break even. The average winning trade was 4.6%, and the average losing trade was 1.5%. Now, there's no such thing as the holy grail of trading, but I think almost everyone would be happy with performance like that. And if you'd like to see the details behind that curve, here are all the trades. I'll page through these for you so you can check them out. Now, as you can see, we're not afraid to go short, and if you're an experienced trader, then you know that oftentimes your short trades end up doing even better than your long trades. Now, there's a nice mix of both short and long trades here, starting on January 8th and going through late April. And here's the next page, which continues from late April and goes through August 15th. Again, a nice mix of long and short trades. Also, take a look at the duration column on the right-hand side so you can see that these are all pretty short-term trades. If you average all of these, the average duration is 12 days. So we're really taking advantage of the short-term trends with this approach. Now remember, there are no guarantees in trading, and I'm not saying you'll get these kind of results trading the Counter Trend Cash Method. However, I can promise that if you use this method, you'll have a step-by-step plan for going after a lot of profit potential by managing risk and putting the odds in your favor. Okay, here we go. I'm going to teach you the Counter Trend Cash Method in 2 parts using my step-by-step trading blueprint approach. If you're brand new to trading, some of this might be a little confusing, so if that's you, don't worry. Just watch it with an open mind, and you can always go back and watch the replay of this webinar again later. But by the end of this webinar, you should have a much better understanding of what's going on. Okay, first up is the long trade blueprint. Okay, first up are the definitions. For the long trade blueprint, we've got the 50 SMA equals the 50-day simple moving average, and that is this red line right in here. The LH5 is the lowest high of the past 5 days. If you look right over here, here's our setup day that we're testing. The lowest high of the past 5 days is right there, that red candle with the shadow at the top of the candle body. The ATR 10 is the average true range of the past 10 days. You pick that off right off the curve at the bottom of the chart here, the average true range. And the ADX 14 is the average directional index based on the past 14 days. And you can pick that off from the ADX plot at the bottom of the chart. The ADX is a measure of market trendiness, and if it's too low, then that means the market is not trending well enough to make a trade. Then swing low, a swing low. Look at point 1 here. This is a swing low. Any low with at least 3 higher lows, 1, 2, 3, then the swing low day low right there, and 3 higher highs, 1, 2, 3, then the swing low day high on both sides of the swing low days. So we need 3 higher highs and higher lows on this side and 3 higher highs and higher lows on that side. They do not have to be consecutive, nor do they have to be higher than one another, only higher than the swing low day. Okay, the setup rules. Setup rule A, the 50 SMA is going down. That's the red line here going down as of setup day. B, the 0.3 low right here, is less than a swing low 0.1. You can see that is the case. And then the lowest high of the last 5 days, right here, here's the lowest high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there, has got to be greater than the 0.1 low, less 1/2 of 1 ATR 10, which would be somewhere right around here. So it's easily meeting that rule. And then D, the close of setup day, the green candle high here, the top of the candle body, has to be greater than the lowest high of the last 5 days, which you can see that it is. And the ADX14 must be greater than 20, and it is. So all the rules have been met for a good setup, making this green candle right here a good setup day. Okay, then the entry and exit rules. So the entry order will be to buy at the close of setup day, which was the top of the green candle body here, plus ATR 10 times 0.20 with a limit order. In other words, we don't want to pay more than the close of setup day plus 20% of 1 average true range, which should be right around in here. The initial stop is to sell at the 0.3 low, just below the 0.3 low, times 0.995 on a stop. We always put a buffer in there so that we don't get stopped out prematurely. Everyone else is loading their stop right on the low. You don't want to do that. Trailing stop, sell at the lowest low of the last 2 days times 0.995 stops. So after the close of this green candle right here, you count 2 days, 1, 2, and you're going to move the stop up from here all the way up to here, below the lowest low of the last 2 days. And you're going to just keep on doing that and keep on doing that until you're stopped out on that second half position way up here for a very, very nice profit. And for the first half position, we're going to protect that as well with the trailing stop, but we're going to exit as soon as it hits our predefined profit target, which is to exit 1/2 position at the entry price plus 2 times the ATR 10, which is going to take you up into this area here. And there you have it. Those are all the rules, definitions you need to trade the counter trend cash method successfully. All right, let's take a look at the short trade blueprint. The rules here are basically a mirror image of the long trade blueprint. So we have the definitions again, the 50 SMA. This time we've got the highest low of the last 5 days. That's the HL5. Again, we have the ATR 10, the ADX 14. And now we define a swing high, which is 0.1 here. Any high with at least 3 lower highs and lower lows on both sides of the swing high day, high and low. And you can see visually that's the case. Again, they don't have to be consecutive, and the 3 days do not have to all have lower highs relative to each other, only relative to the swing high day. And then, of course, the swing low in this case would be 0.2 with 3 higher highs and higher lows on both sides. Setup rules, the 50 SMA is going up. Here's our setup day. 0.3 high has to be greater than a swing high 0.1, which you can see that it is. The highest low of the last 5 days, right here, is less than the 0.1 high plus 1/2 ATR 10, which would be right around in this area here. You can see if you draw an imaginary line across, that highest low 5 is indeed less than that level. And then the close must be less than the HL5, the highest low of the last 5 days. And that close is right here, the bottom of this red candle body, closing below the HL5. And the ADX 14 must be greater than 20. So that makes this a good setup day. So our entry then, we're going to sell short at the close of setup day minus ATR 10 times 0.20 limit order, which would be just below the close here. And you can see the high of entry day didn't quite reach the close of setup day, but it did go above that buffer of 20% of the ATR. That allows this trade to get short right up in here. Very, very good fill. Initial stop, buy to cover at 0.3 high times 1.005 on a stop. And then we start moving that trailing stop down to buy to cover at the highest high the last 2 days times 1.005 on a stop. So after the entry day close, we immediately move the stop from up here all the way down to 1, 2, just above there. And then at the close of this green candle, we move it down again, 1, 2, all the way down to this level. And by doing that, we're systematically reducing the risk in the trade and then beginning to lock in profits once we get below our entry point. And then we're going to exit half position at the entry price minus 2 ATR 10 limit order, which would be somewhere around in here. Taking nice profits and then trailing that HH2 stop for that second half position until it gets stopped out down here. That way, no matter what the market does with the two-step profitable scaling strategy, you'll be able to get the most profit potential out of a series of trades, no matter what the market does, whether it just moves down and hits the profit target and then reverses, or whether it keeps right on going. So there you have it, my complete counter-trend cash method. It's the same method many others have paid a value of $500 for. It worked way back in 2007. It's been battle-tested over the years, and it still works today. Okay, next up is step 2 to market mastery, which is only trading in what I call deliberately trading markets. Now, this is one of the most powerful concepts I've ever developed, and many of my students tell me is the one thing that has made the biggest positive impact on their trading. Here's what one of my students, Dr. Bruce, had to say about this concept. I've used Bill's concept of deliberately trading markets for some time now. It cannot be overstated how effective it is. Do yourself a favor and start practicing analyzing every chart you wish to trade in this manner and see the difference for yourself. You won't be disappointed. Dr. Bruce. All right, thanks, Bruce. Now, let me teach you how this works. Okay, this is a chart of a choppy market, or one that is not deliberately trading. Now, look at how it hopscotches up and down all over the place. No definitive trend, unusually wide range bars, just a herky-jerky kind of price action. It looks kind of like an electrocardiogram. Now, how would you possibly expect to make a profit with a chart like that, with that kind of price action? Because when you see that kind of price action, it's likely to continue. So stay away from this type of market. You can't trade all the markets anyway. Why not pick those that are trading deliberately? So even if you have the best trading method in the world, the odds are greatly against you when you attempt to trade in this type of market. Unfortunately, that's what most people try to do, so they mistakenly think that they have a bad method when they do that. And when the real problem is the market itself. They should have never attempted to trade such a market. Now, on the other hand, take a look at this market. Now, this is a deliberately trading market. You can see that the ebb and flow of the price action is very moderate from one day to the next. The range of each candle is not dramatically out of proportion with the prior day. There are no gaps in price to speak of between one day and the next. This is the kind of price action we want to be looking for before we even consider trading a stock. Once you know how to quickly identify a deliberately trading market, your trading can change forever. And you'll wonder how you ever managed to trade before. You'll be able to go through 10 charts, for example, in less than 30 seconds and know which ones you should take a further look at. Okay, now this concept is really, really important. So I want to do a quick poll to make sure you understand this. So if you can tell the difference between these two charts, go ahead and type in yes in the question box. And if you can't see the difference, type in no. Okay, do that now. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Okay, good. Everybody gets it. Now look, this is a powerful concept. Make sure you try it out before you place your next trade, regardless of what you trade, because this technique works for every kind of market. Okay, finally is step 3 to market mastery, which is to manage risk first, and only then to go after profits, which, by the way, is the complete opposite of how most people attempt to trade. If you're like most traders, these are the two main reasons you can't get ahead. First, you have a series of small losing trades, one after another, followed by a small winning trade. Then this pattern repeats, a series of small losers followed by a small winner. The net result, of course, is that your account gets smaller and smaller until it ends up getting wiped out. Now, if this is happening to you, then the main problem is that you're not letting the winning trades run. And here's the other scenario. You have a series of small winners followed by a big loser that wipes out all the gains you just made. And again, this pattern repeats itself. Small winners followed by a big loser. But just like the first scenario, the end result is the same. You wipe out your trading account. Now, if this is happening to you, then the main problem is that you're not cutting your losses and getting out of the losing trades fast enough. What if you could fix both of these problems automatically? That's what step 3 to market mastery is all about. Managing risk first and then going for profits. Most people try to grab profits first, and risk management is an afterthought or a reaction to what's happening in a trade. But when you have a repeatable plan to manage risk first, you know the maximum amount of money you are risking before you even place a trade. And that's a powerful situation to be in because it gives you the peace of mind you need to let the trade run to maximize its profit potential. Now, here's a tool you can use right now to implement these very important risk management principles. Specifically, this tool will help you determine the correct position size relative to your account size for every trade. Now, that's very, very important. The correct position size relative to your account size for every trade. And by position size, I mean the number of shares that you would put on for any one trade. Let's take this example here. Let's say you had a $30,000 account. So you'd write in this worksheet $30,000. Now you should not risk, as a rule, more than 2% of your account size, the amount you would lose on the trade. So you write in 2%. 2% times 30,000 is $600. So if this trade hit its maximum loss, you would lose no more than $600. Now, the next point is the planned risk per share. So let's say you were buying a $40 stock, and your initial stop was at $38. Initial stop. Okay, you would lose $2 per share if you were stopped out on the initial stop. That's the worst case. And you always want to plan on the worst case when determining your position size. So here you would load in $2. And now you simply divide $2 into 600, and that gives you your position size, 300 shares. Maximum number of shares. Now that does not mean you have to trade 300 shares. It just means that's the maximum number. If you're feeling uncomfortable in the least about trading that many shares with your $30,000 account, then Cut it in half. Trade 150. There's no rule that says you have to trade that amount. Just don't trade more. Okay, now why is it 300 shares? Let's go back the other way. So you're going to buy the $40 stock. You're going to buy 300 shares. That's $12,000. And if the stock drops to 38 times 300 shares, that's $11,400. Your account would drop by $600. Okay, you see how that works? So now your account is at $29,400. Now, of course, you want your account size to grow. But if you encounter a losing trade following these risk management rules, your account is still in good shape. You have not done great damage to your account. And you're ready for the next opportunity. If you're not using this methodology to determine your position size, I strongly urge you to do so immediately. Okay, I have a little bonus for you, my fourth step to market mastery, which is to go after the middle 1/3 of a trend. This is another profound, simple concept that most people completely ignore. Now, if you've been watching closely, you may have already figured out the fourth step to market mastery on your own. And you'll be glad to know that my market mastery software automatically incorporates this as well, which will help you maximize your odds of success every time you trade. So take a look at this chart where I've zoomed in on a nice uptrend. Now, here's what most people think you have to do to create wealth trading the markets. They think you have to buy at the very bottom of a trend, as seen here, and then sell at the very top. Anything less than that is perceived as failure. Well, one of the greatest traders of the 20th century, Bernard Baruch, who was a multimillionaire and who also went on to become a presidential advisor, had this to say about trying to capture the entire trend. He said, "Don't try to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. It can't be done except by liars. I can't help making money. I just wait for the market to bottom and buy on the way up, and then I sell before the top. I'm satisfied with the middle 1/3 of the move." Now, this is a very, very profound concept, and I want to emphasize this again. Baruch said, "I just wait for the market to bottom, and I buy on the way up. Then I sell before the top. I'm satisfied with the middle 1/3 of the move." That's the secret, the middle 1/3. If that doesn't make sense to you, here's another way to look at it. Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and Barry Bonds are all masters of the middle 1/3. They understood that all you need to do to hit the most home runs over time is to hit the ball 1 out of every 3 times you step up to the plate. What do you think would have happened if Babe Ruth had given up early in his career because he hadn't hit the ball 100% of the time? Of course, we wouldn't be talking about him right now. Just like Bernard Baruch and just like many of the best traders, all 3 of these home run kings were satisfied with the middle 1/3. So let's look at what Baruch was talking about in a little more detail so you can implement this concept yourself. This is the same chart we just saw, but applying Baruch's philosophy to it, this is what the middle 1/3 looks like. Now, you might be thinking, but what about the rest of the move? I'd be buying too high if I missed the bottom, or I'd be selling too low if I missed the top. But that's how most traders think. They think you need to capture it all. But some of the best traders on the planet, like Baruch, figured out long ago that the middle 1/3 of a trend is much easier to take advantage of. All you need to do is wait for a trend to develop, hop on board, and then sell before it ends. Now, in practice, what we actually end up doing is selling a few days after a trend peaks. And that's why the sell arrow points to a spot on the other side of the trend. If that doesn't make any sense, don't worry, because my Market Mastery software handles this concept automatically with every trade you place. I hope you found this concept helpful, but more importantly, I hope you implement it every time you trade. So there you have it, my 4 steps to Market Mastery. First, you need a good trading method, and that's what I gave you with the Counter Trend Cash method. Second, you need to only trade in deliberately trading markets, which you also learned how to do. Third, you need to manage risk first and then go after profits, which is what I showed you how to do with my risk management tool. And fourth, you need to trade the middle 1/3 of a trend, which we just covered. Now you can take everything you've learned so far and go and implement it yourself. You can watch the charts every night, look for deliberately trading markets, follow the trading rules I taught you, place your trades, calculate your exit orders, and you'll have the potential to do quite well. But there's a much easier way, and that's my custom trade alert software that I gave you a sneak peek of earlier, Market Mastery. The most time-consuming part of trading, especially if you're new, is watching charts on a regular basis and looking for trades. Well, the nice thing about Market Mastery is that it totally automates that part for you. Every night after the market closes, it looks for the best deliberately trading markets and then applies my specialized trading rules to see if a new trade is setting up. And once all the right conditions are met that put the odds of success in your favor, it sends you a trade alert, which is your cue to take action. That's why I like to think of it as a personal trading assistant that taps you on the shoulder when it's time to trade. And that occurs after the markets close each day. So you have plenty of time between then and the next day before they open. This lets you go about your business and really not even think about trading until something really good is about to happen. You ever see those guys scouring the beach with metal detectors looking for buried treasure? They're out there all day long, and if they're lucky, they'll find a few coins. But they mostly just find junk like old bottle caps or rusty metal. Well, what if they had a map that told them the general areas where all the good stuff was buried, like gold coins or diamond rings? They might not find them all, but their odds of finding a lot more valuable treasure would go up significantly. And all the other guys holding the old bottle caps would just be scratching their heads, wondering how they did it. Now that's kind of what Market Mastery does for you. And you really will have a sort of unfair advantage over other people who aren't using it. Now, if you remember from earlier, there are 3 specific profit pockets that Market Mastery helps you go after with these 3 different trading methods. So when you combine all 3 methods, you have a lot of power in your trading toolkit. Now let's quickly look at a recent period to see the kind of profit potential Market Mastery has been spotting lately. Now here's a live view of the Trade Alert software, and you can see there are lots of trades going on here. And these are trades in the US, Canadian, London, and Australian markets. So let's just take a look at a couple of them. Here's ACT, entry price 159.64 on 12/17. Current price 177.11. That's up 10.94%. The trailing stop is up at 168.65. Remember, we moved that stop up systematically once we're in the trade. Now it's well above the entry price, locking in profit. The first half position's already exited at the profit target. Is shown in green here at 167.80. This is a beautiful trade. Now, they're not all going to be that good. Some are going to top out at 7% or 5% or 3%, and we will have a losing trade from time to time. These trades over here are currently slightly below the entry price, but they were just entered into a couple days ago and really haven't had time yet to get moving. Again, every time there's a need to change the trailing stop, you'll be alerted by email, text message, or by the icon here on the signals page. And when we do have a losing trade, the loss is going to be minimized with the judicious placement of the initial stop and the follow-up trailing stop. So not all of these trades are winners, of course, but as you know by now, not all of them have to be winners to be able to have the potential to do very, very well in these markets. So here's what you get when you enroll in Market Mastery 2.0 today. First, you get the awesome web-based software, which you see here. This is what everybody's pretty excited about. It automatically incorporates all three of my Market Mastery trading methods. Visually, it's very clean and uncluttered. You only see what you need, so you can easily and quickly manage your trades. Now, I'm almost done, but there's still a few more important resources you're going to get access to, including access to the Market Mastery members website. This is where the bonus training materials will appear, as well as any updates to the program. Plus, when you enroll today and become my student, I'm going to give you a full year of unlimited premium email and live chat support. Now, this isn't some throwaway outsourced support either. I have a full-time support team of professional traders working with me in my office in Michigan that are here to answer your questions and help you succeed. If you have a question with a particular trade, let us know and we'll take a look. Every question is important to us, no matter how simple or how complicated you think it is. Okay, so let's take a look at the value of what you're going to get so far. But make sure you stay with me until the end of this webinar, because I have both a surprise and a special deal for you that I think you're really going to like. First, access to the Market Mastery software is valued at $497 per month, or $4,997 upfront for 12 months access. Next are the unlimited trade alerts for a full year. Now that's worth at least $1,997. Most traders who've been around for a while know that many services easily charge hundreds of dollars a month for access to their trade alerts. Finally, the 1 year of unlimited premium email and live chat that we just discussed is worth at least $997. Now that's a total of $7,991 in real value so far. But I have some additional surprises for you that are going to help you reach your trading goals faster than you ever thought possible. Remember this illustrative chart from earlier that shows my Market Mastery methods? Well, take a look at this area circled in red on this chart. There's a special type of a very predictable market condition that occurs quite often that I actually developed another trading method for that I call the profit pipeline method. And it gives you another way to spot even more profit potential in the best markets. Now, the profit pipeline method goes after markets that are in a good, strong trend, but that have a fairly serious correction over several days, where it looks to a lot of traders like the trend may be over with, only to be setting up for a terrific opportunity, low risk, high probability opportunity to get on board at just the right time as the trend reasserts itself, making your trade profitable almost from the get-go. So now you'll have 4 complete trading methods, not 3. But there's still more. For a very limited time, I'm also going to give you 8 live group coaching sessions to make sure we remove any doubt or questions you have about how to successfully use Market Mastery. Here's how it'll all work. About a week after you enroll, we'll start the group coaching sessions. This gives you a chance to become familiar with the software first. You'll meet once a week on a live webinar with all the other Market Mastery students and me or one of my senior trading coaches. Now, this is a picture of my actual trading computer that I use for the webinars. We'll pull up our charting software, go over some of the trades that the software spotted, and then the rest of the session is yours. We can look at trades you're working on, answer any clarifying questions you have, whatever you want. Now, I've used this group coaching format in the past, and it's always a big hit with my students. So I'm happy to do it again for this special release of Market Mastery 2.0. If I were to sell these 8 group coaching sessions separately, they'd easily go for at least $1,997. But you pay nothing extra because I'm including them with this release only of Market Mastery. Now, if I ever release this program again in the future, there's no guarantee that I'll include these group coaching sessions again. So make sure you take advantage of this special offer today. All right, so let's look at the updated list of what you're getting today. There's access to the web software for $4,997. The trade alerts for $1,997. 1 year of unlimited premium email support for $997. The bonus profit pipeline method web software add-on for $1,666, and the trade alerts for $666. And you get the 8 group coaching sessions for $1,997. Now, that's a total value of $12,320. That's a real value. I could split all these pieces up and sell them individually at the prices listed here. But today, you can get all of this for the equivalent of about $83 a month if you prepay for a year with our easy one-payment option. Plus, we also have a 2-payment option available. Now, I intentionally priced this very low so that pretty much everybody can at least give it a shot and get started today. However, because the price to get started is so low, I'll probably not be able to keep this offer open for very long before we hit capacity. So if you're interested in this even just a little bit, make sure you lock in your spot right now while enrollment is still open. At this low price, I really can't think of any reason for you not to at least try it out. And depending on your account size, you could easily cover the cost of your investment after a few trades. So go ahead and just click the Add to Cart button on this page for access to Market Mastery. You'll get to access the software immediately so you could be using it within minutes. Okay, now here's my 100% satisfaction guarantee and 60-day trial. If you don't think this is the fastest and easiest way to have the potential to make more money more safely and more quickly trading stocks, or if for any reason you're not 100% delighted with it, just prove to us that you gave it a fair shot within 60 days and you get a full refund. You don't have to trade every day and it doesn't have to be a live account. We also don't care if you made money or lost money. We just want to see that you gave it a shot. So why do we do this? Well, number one, we purposely want to repel thieves and unrealistic opportunity seekers out there. You know, the types of people who think they can take a $500 account and turn it into $2 million in 1 year. The people who honestly believe those pitches and scams, well, we don't really want them in the Market Mastery community. We also, though, want to attract serious traders, people who understand the importance of a step-by-step trading method and who will actually put this program to the test and use it. And you can probably tell by now that I've been speaking at a higher level to you during this presentation than you've probably heard on other trading and investing websites. And I haven't made any crazy promises, and that's because I'm serious about teaching you what's realistically possible with Market Mastery. And I really only want to work with people who are like-minded. Finally, we know our methods work because we have tens of thousands of students all around the world who keep coming back to us for more training. And so I know that if I can get you to try Market Mastery, you'll probably become a student for life and come back to me for more advanced training later on down the road. So as long as you're willing to give it a fair try, you have nothing to lose. It's as simple as that. So go ahead and just click the Add to Cart button on this page for access to Market Mastery. You get to access the software immediately so you could be using it within minutes. We've got the price ridiculously low because we want everybody to have a fair chance to give this a shot. By the way, if you already own some of my other trading programs, that's great news, and here's why. I designed Market Mastery to complement my other trading methods. So just like the best golfers have a full set of clubs, I believe the best traders have a full arsenal of multiple trading methods. The bottom line is that the more methods you have at your disposal, the more profit potential you can pull out of the markets. Now, I just want to give you a fair heads up. As I mentioned earlier, I only plan on releasing very limited copies of Market Mastery. This offer could go offline with little or no warning. So if you have any interest in what you've seen here, please click the Add to Cart button below and start your 60-day trial right now. The fact that I'm only going to release limited copies of this program is nothing new. If you've seen me release trading programs in the past, then you know I always keep my enrollments to a small, manageable number. The main reason is because I want to make sure you get all the support you deserve when you become my student. And even though I employ a full-time staff of professional traders to support you, they can only handle so many people at once before becoming overextended. So as soon as I think my team is reaching capacity in the number of students we can serve, this offer will close down and go offline as we focus on turning our new students into better traders. So go ahead and just click the Add to Cart button on this page for access to Market Mastery. You'll get to download the Trade Alert software immediately. Okay, now I have some time to go through some of the questions I've been getting during this presentation. All right, let me just scroll through the questions. Okay, here's one. Will this work with my broker's software? Well, yes, absolutely, because Market Mastery is standalone software with its own data feed. That means it doesn't matter who you use for a broker. Market Mastery alerts you when it's time to trade, and then you simply place and manage your trades with your broker's trading platform. It's that easy. All right, next question. Let's see here. Well, what countries will this work in? Well, it'll work anywhere in the world that has an internet connection, so as long as you have a computer with web access, you can use Market Mastery from anywhere in the world. Okay, next. Looks like a lot of people have this question. How much time will this take? Well, all you need is a few minutes each night after the market closes, around 5 p.m. Eastern in the U.S., to check for trade alerts. And likewise in the Canadian, London, and Australian markets. Market Mastery will automatically analyze the latest market data and alert you if you need to take action. That way you don't need to stay glued to your computer. In practice, you'll probably need no more than 10 minutes per night actively managing trades. Okay. All right, here's one. How much time do I have to place my trades after I get a trade alert? Well, because trade alerts are issued in the evening after the markets close, you'll have all night until the markets open the following morning to place your trades. And remember, you just need a few minutes to actually place your trades, so your total time commitment really is minimal. Next. How big of an account do I need to trade this? Well, remember, you only want to trade with money that you can afford to lose, because there are never any guarantees of profit when trading any kind of market. However, you can realistically get started with as little as a $500 account. Now, you're not going to make a fortune from that, but you're going to learn a great deal so that when you do have more money, you'll be ready. Okay, here's a good one. Is this a trading robot or expert advisor? Well, the answer is absolutely not. Trading robots are usually cheap, gimmicky, $97 plugins that claim to make you rich while automatically trading while you sleep. In contrast to that, Market Mastery is more like having a personal trading assistant that taps you on the shoulder when it's time to consider a trade. The actual trading remains safely in your hands, so you always know what to do. Next one. Is this position trading, swing trading, day trading, or scalping? Yeah, that's a good question. Market Mastery analyzes end-of-day markets and applies our unique version of swing trading, in which you can expect to be in a trade, on average, somewhere in the area of 5 to 15 days, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. The goal is to get you out of a losing trade quickly and to keep you in a winning trade for as long as possible in order to maximize its profit potential. Okay, we got time for one more. Okay, here's one. Will these methods work with shorter time frames like 15-minute, 1 hour, and so on? Market Mastery was designed primarily for end-of-day bars. However, if you're an experienced trader After you get a feel for how the trading methods work, you can definitely apply the concepts to shorter time frames. But I think you'll discover that you have the potential to make a lot more money with a lot less work trading the daily bars. Okay, so we need to finish up here. If I didn't get to your question, please go to profitsrunsupport.com and submit your question there, and we'll take care of you. So I just want to thank everybody for attending the webinar. I hope you learned a lot, and I really hope you take advantage of the 60-day trial that I set up for you. Remember, you really don't even need to say yes right now. You just need to say maybe and try it out for 60 days. Then make your final decision later. So go ahead and just click the Add to Cart button on this page for access to Market Mastery. You'll get access to the software immediately, and you could be placing trades today. To all my students who already joined during the webinar, thank you, and I look forward to meeting with you on one of the group coaching webinars with all of the other Market Mastery students. You're going to learn a lot, but we're also going to have a lot of fun. All right, everybody, thanks. This is Bill Polis signing off and wishing you good trading.